In 1931, future Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of China in Shanghai, Chien Hongyi, welcomed the birth of his grandson. With the boy's father studying abroad, it fell to Hongyi to pick the name.
My grandfather thought the word Shu in Chinese means warmth and peace, so he loved that word and he chose that for my name.
Sadly, for the Chien family, peace would not survive the Japanese occupation of Shanghai during World War II.
So my grandfather was the Chief Justice for the criminal court in Shanghai, and he was very strict in handling the cases of Chinese traders who worked for the puppet government established by the Japanese army in Shanghai and elsewhere.
Chief Justice Hongyi soon became a target. One day on his way to the courthouse, Hongyi, who Chien had lived with for 10 years, was gunned down by government assassins.
And I was home. I remember his being brought back by the rickshaw puller, saying that our master has been shot, and he was bleeding all over, and he passed away shortly thereafter. That was when I was about close to 10 years old, and I still remember that vividly.
Chien became more determined than ever to bring positive change to a world filled with uncertainty.
And that is why I picked the medicine, because I thought through that I could do something that's helpful for people in terms of their health and well-being.
Chien earned a PhD in physiology from Columbia University in New York, while simultaneously taking courses in engineering. After graduating, Chien stayed at Columbia as an assistant professor and began to study the body's response to blood loss in hopes of discovering improved treatments for traumatic bleeding due to injury or hemorrhage.
And at first I was interested in the nervous system. That compensates for the blood loss. But later I found out the flow properties of blood can also play a role. And that really brings me into connections with engineering.
In 1967, Chien and his colleagues released 3 landmark papers that provided groundbreaking insight into how blood responds to physical forces within the circulatory system.
Chien's research in the 1960s uncovered some profound mysteries about the ability of blood to change in viscosity depending on the physical forces applied to it. Chien put his extracurricular engineering skill set to use and developed a series of experiments which revealed that the shape of red blood cells isn't accidental. Chien found that in a reduced flow environment, blood cells stack like a roll of coins, creating sluggish and viscous flow. In this state, the cells can't travel through capillaries. However, Chien found that when the rate of flow is increased, blood cells separate from one another, thinning the blood. In this state, the unique shape of red blood cells allows them to deform and travel through blood vessels they wouldn't normally be able to traverse.
Chien's insights contributed to a change in the way doctors treat cardiac patients, adding aspirin and other blood thinners to standard treatment regimens. Over the years, Chien's interest in the physics of blood flow blossomed into research that could help doctors cure one of the biggest causes of heart disease on the planet, atherosclerosis.
Atherosclerosis is the buildup of plaque or lesions within the arteries, and it tends to favor areas where arteries fork and branch rather than straight segments. This preference for branch points was one of the biggest mysteries in medicine. Our blood vessels contain an inner lining of cells called endothelial cells. In straight segments, blood flows past these cells without much contact, but watch what happens at branch points. The red blood cells form eddies and scrape against the lining, irritating the cells. This releases chemicals that attract immune cells, which burrow under the irritated lining and begin to ingest bad cholesterol, which mutates the white blood cells into a foamy mass. This is what forms the plaque that causes atherosclerosis. Chien's research also shows us how we might prevent it.
One thing we can do is exercise.
In sedentary people, the eddies at the branch points continually irritate the same area of the vessel lining, making it more likely for a lesion to form. By exercising, you increase the rate of blood flow and shift the position of irritation. giving the cells time to recover. Thanks to Chien, researchers are working on new ways to cure the disease altogether. And even if he doesn't see the cure, he's happy to have made a difference.
Science has helped our health and will continue to do so. That's why we're all working on that. It's so important to pursue the kind of scientific research that's being done